not on. Start over.
For Mary Bullock.
Yeah.
Why does nobody know the trouble I see? If you ever find yourself somewhere, lost and surrounded by enemies who won't let you speak in your own language, who destroy your statues and your instruments, who ban your then you are in trouble. Deep trouble. They ban your you in deep trouble. Probably take you several hundred years to get out.
For Yuri Kochiyama, from her essay, Then Came the War. Everything changed for me on the day Pearl Harbor was bombed. On that very day, December 7th, the FBI came and they took my father. He had just come home from the hospital the day before. For several days, we didn't know where they had taken him. Then we found out that he was taken to the federal prison at Terminal Island. Overnight, things changed for us. We were sent to an assembly center in Arcadia, California in April. It was the largest assembly center on the West Coast, having nearly 20,000 people. I was so red, white, and blue. I couldn't believe this was happening to us. America would never do a thing like this to us. This was the greatest country in the world, so I thought, this is only going to be for a short while, maybe a few weeks or something, and that'll let us go back. At the beginning, no one realized how long this would go on. I didn't feel anger that much because I felt maybe this was the way we could show our love for our country, and we should not make too much fuss or noise. We should abide by what they asked of us. I'm a totally different person now than I was back then. I was naive about so many things, and the more I think about it, the more I realize how little you learn about American history. It's just what they want you to know. We always called the camps relocation centers while we were there. Now we feel it is apropos to call them concentration camps. It is not the same as the concentration camps of Europe. Those, we feel, were death camps. Concentration camps were a concentration of people placed in an area and disempowered and disenfranchised, so it is apropos to call what I was in a concentration camp. Historically, Americans have always been putting people behind walls. First, there were the American Indians who were put on reservations, Africans in slavery, their lives in the plantations, Chicanos doing migratory work in the kinds of camps they lived in, and even too the Chinese when they worked on the railroad camps where they were almost isolated, dispossessed people, disempowered. And I feel those are the things we should fight against so they won't happen again. It wasn't so long ago, in 1979, that the feeling against the Iranians was so strong because of the takeover of the US Embassy in Iran, where they wanted to deport Iranian students. And that is when a group called Concerned Japanese American organized, and that was the first issue we took up, and then we connected with what the Japanese had gone through. This whole period of what the Japanese went through is important. If we can see the connections of how often this happens in history, we can stem the tide of these things happening again by speaking out against that.
For Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for that caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.